Welcome to the Eating at a Meeting podcast. I'm your host, Tracy Stuckrath, dietary needs expert, certified meetings manager, certified food protection manager. I have searched the globe to find people and businesses who are creating safe, sustainable, and inclusive food and beverage experiences for their employees, guests, and communities. In each episode, you will find authentic conversations about how food and beverage impacts inclusion, sustainability, culture, community, health, and wellness. I know that sounds like a lot, but we're going to cover it all. Are you ready to feed engagement, nourish inclusion, and bolster your bottom line? If so, let's go. Hey, everybody. Tracy Stuckrath here, and I am on, it's the last day of Catersource, right?
Yes.
Yeah, last day of Catersource. We're on the show floor, and I am here with Chef Boris Seymore. Hello, everybody. And he is the chef owner of BDS Catering and Productions. And the other day, actually at the pre-conference, which was part of the Art of Catering Food, he did the Lunch and Learn, a trip south. And that's what we're going to talk about today in celebrating Black History Month. And his whole point was talking about the traditions of the people of the South and all the people behind the scenes.
That's right.
So, Boris, tell us what you talked about in that session and what you shared with the audience.
So we talked about preserving the history of our culture from our forefathers and ancestors. A lot of people should know, and I'm not looking for pity or empathy or sympathy, but I want people to understand the value of where food and spices comes from. You know, of course, back then there were slaves. You know, our ancestors and forefathers were slaves. And on the trip over from Africa, a lot of the herbs and spices came over, and along the east side, you know, from Florida all the way up to, you know, Virginia, house where some of those slaves stopped, you know.
Right.
And so over the years, it has transcended, and they have Europeanized the culture of our cuisine.
Right.
And so what we did yesterday, not yesterday, actually Monday.
Yeah.
Running away from me, right? So in our actuality, what we did was we just took Europeanized dishes and we pushed them back towards our culture. So some of the things we had on the menu, I did a blueberry chicken. I named it after my grandmother, Georgia Maid. And that's the name of my restaurant, Georgia Maid. And so we did this blueberry chicken, and everybody was amazed how we put a twist on it. And all we essentially did just use the original spices that our ancestors and forefathers used, and I just pushed it back and retwisted it and pushed it back towards our culture. And so even like we did a creme brulee, but I did a sweet potato pie creme brulee. So when you think about creme brulee, you think it's this European dish.
Right.
So I just pushed it back to our culture and put sweet potato pie.
Wow.
So that's kind of what we did with the Lunch and Learn.
Okay.
You know, to try to preserve some of the history of our culture and cuisine.
So what does it take, and what would you like to see? Well, I guess that's two different questions. What does it take? The spices from your culture way back then, do we have to go research them, or are they still there and we just have to pay attention to them? Or does that make sense?
Yeah, they are still there. It's just that everything is so microwave these days, you know, so a lot of stuff comes preserved. There's no authentic type seasonings. Everybody's using, you know, granulated garlic powder,
right?
Onion powder, you know, seasoned, Lowry seasoned salt. But, you know, if you go back to using herbs like star anise, you know, things like that, it puts fun and flavor,
right,
and tradition back into the heritage in the cuisine. So I think if we try to do that a little bit more, we can still preserve. But I don't know. This is a microwave world. Everybody wants things fast.
They do.
So like going back to the blueberry chicken, we had to brine it for 24 hours.
Okay.
You know, so who wants to brine chicken now?
Right. True.
You know, so we've gotten away from that, you know, that authentic preparation of how we prepare food, and to where it gets boring. It's fast, but it's boring. It's not exciting, you know. And so everybody was so amazed, like the collard greens we did. We didn't do your traditional collard greens. We sell these at the restaurant. It's a mix of turnips, mustard, and collards.
Really?
Yes, and we braise them, and we braise them in smoked turkey, and we braise them for like 8 hours.
Wow.
And boil them down so that flavor. And we put original garlic. We didn't use onion powder, garlic powder.
So you chop the garlic up yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that's what we're missing. And that adds that component back to the history and combination of our cuisine.
And when you do that with when you're selling your catering to a client, right? Yes. Are they coming to you looking for that, or are they coming to looking for you for the microwave thing and you're convincing them otherwise?
Well, and that's going back to that same scenario. Yes, they come to me with this fast microwave, and I just tell them I'm just probably not the right caterer or chef.
Okay.
Because I am big on integrity, and I don't like to do nothing to compromise the integrity of our services and our food. Right. And the preparation of our food. So they always come to you because they have a budget. Right. And they say, oh, we just want you to do something so simple. Well, I'm not the simple guy. I'm the wrong caterer chef if you're looking for something simple. Right, yeah. So I'm trying to preserve that and get away from that. Okay.
Know? And then I heard a term the other day that the chef said, and he was on yesterday, wedding cakes. And he said, don't say expensive, it's less costly. I'm like looking at it and saying, okay, well, I don't know what my question is really there, but figuring out and I see on feeds all the time, like caterers complaining like, hey, we only have a $10 budget, but we want to serve, per person, but we want to serve filet mignon and whatever. I'm like, you can't get filet mignon for $10.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I ran into a lot of those issues coming out of COVID. Everything was busy. Everybody, was double booked. And so right after that peak and it balanced out, I started to begin a lot of calls with that same thing. Oh, we only have a budget of this, a budget of that. And I got this from another caterer as well. And and it helped me. As we talked to the client, or my assistant talked, we asked them, in your mind, where would you go? What would you like to eat? Right. Well, you can take 20 or 30 good friends. Right. And depending on the answer, that'll determine if they're our client or not. So, if they tell us, Ruth Chris, or, or Eddie V's, then we know what we're dealing with. But if you come back, I want to go to Applebee's, I want to go to Chili's, then you're probably not going to be the client from us. Yeah. Our food and beverage minimum is $135 to $150 per person. Okay. So, and
that's inclusive or before?
That's inclusive. Well, not including, sales tax and service fees, but you have to think about it. If you go to someone and you say, hey, I want to do a party, I got 20 people. And my budget is $300. Can you take them 20 people to your restaurant and actually buy food for $300? So what makes you think that you can do it with us? And we don't have the brick and mortar restaurant. We don't have the ovens. If it's an event, we have to build a field kitchen. Right. That's an incurred cost. Right. If you go to a venue and it's a green venue and you can't take in no plastic bottles, now we have to get carton water, canned water, right? And to have that sustainability, it's a price on it, right? Anything that's healthier or better, it's a price comes along with it. So you can't expect us if we charge you this price $10 for some water. That's you asked for this. I didn't ask for it. I'm telling you what. I'm not making up figures in my head. Right. Go to Amazon, go to Whole Foods, and try to buy that same can of water.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And so and they're not understanding that, and it's about educating. We have to educate them and explain to them. Right. And it becomes a whole consulting situation versus a question, a Q&A about what we need to do for your event because they just don't know. Right. You have a client come to you, we want to have a dinner on the beach. Okay. Sand blowing everywhere. How are we going to transfer the equipment on the sand? Mm-hmm. How are we going to build a kitchen on the sand? Like, they don't think of these things. They just wake up with a dream and come and say, hey, make this happen. Right. Oh, by the way, I only got $5 per person. So it's like, how do we get past that as an industry to get people to understand that? And I understand it's hard, it's difficult. They talking about recession. I just believe people spend money on what they want to spend. That's true. And so if you value me as a caterer, don't come to me and say, I want you and I've been waiting on you and you exclusive. Well, treat me like that. Right. Respect my value and pay me that way. Right. Yeah. And so then it's a tough situation.
Well, and I had Todd Annis on the show last year, and he was talking about kind of we as meeting planners, we get an idea from our client, right? They want to have the party on the beach, right? And then we go to you and say, produce it. And planners get annoyed by our clients not understanding what it takes to produce that event on the beach, but then we go and throw it on you, right? And so we as planners in the middle also have to appreciate and respect what you do, because we do want you to make the wow. We do want you to do these things, but it takes more than just putting a blanket on the, beach blanket bingo.
And then another thing is the industry has become so ego-stricken. And I'm gonna throw some planners under the bus. They may get upset, but I don't care. And I know you guys as planners, or you may be with a client and they come to you and say, hey, okay, here's my budget. It's $300,000.
Right.
Just make it happen. I need the dress. I need the venue. I need the caterer. I need everything to fall within this $3,000. I mean, $300,000, not $3,000. Sorry.
That would be really hard.
Exactly, right. And so I know a lot of planners try to get submissions in magazines. And so they'd rather put more money into the decor and the aesthetics instead of the food or the venue.
Right.
And so the caterer's left with, we have a budget of $3,000, $2,000. And that's kind of sad. That sucks. And I understand you trying to get a job done. And I can't tell you how to spend your budget for your production. But I just don't like the hidden agendas. Be transparent with me, because I'm going to give you the best with what you give me to work.
Right.
And it's not fair for you to have the integrity and me, I don't get it because I'm a caterer, because you have a hidden agenda.
Right.
And I think if we can balance that out and figure that situation out where everybody win, then we all can partner all the time, and we all can grow, but I think it's sad that some planners do that, All
right, something you said, I want to go back to for around Black History Month, and it's taking it back to understanding and respecting what you do, right? And behind the scenes, and that's what your BDS catering and production is like that behind the scenes and the people behind the scenes that get the job done, and that's what your team does, right? But tying that back to the culture of the food and things like that, how do we? Do you know Tiffany Barrier? Are you familiar?
Yes.
So she's bringing that history with the beverages, right? The history of that.
Right.
Where do you see it going now, going forward with bringing that historical perspective back on food and beverage?
I like the direction it's going. If we can just collectively as an industry really take it and apply it to almost anything we do, so we can preserve that history. Because going back, we know who cooked the food. We for those big events for the White House. I mean, almost the butlers. And there's a Lee Daniels has a movie called The Butlers. So we know that behind the scenes thing that made the president look good, that made these slave owners and masters look good.
Right.
Believe it or not, it was Black folks.
Right.
And it like I said, I'm not trying to get people to feel empty, have sympathy, feel sorry for us. What happened. What done was done. The best thing we do is just treat it with kindness and just apply and not forget it, and understand that it wasn't you that started this or made this. It was us. And that's just where I'm at on it.
Okay, yeah. So what are some of the spices that you like to use, thinking about the historical dishes?
Oh, man, all kind of rice. South Carolina is known
the golden rice.
Carolina gold rice. Star anise. Just the grains. The couscous, like all that stuff. When people think of African American, I'm gonna move away from African American. I'm gonna say Black American. I don't know nothing about Africa. That's just how I'm represented. Black America.
Okay.
People think, it's no good cuisine. It's sloppy. It doesn't look appealing. It's
not healthy.
Yes, it's not healthy. It's just onion powder, garlic powder, flour, seasoned salt. And it's more than that.
Right.
It's more than that, and that's what we incorporated and showcased at the Lunch and Learn, that this is an unbelievable meal and it can look elegant, it can be presented good, and it can taste good, and it can be healthy because it's natural.
Right.
It's not soaked in lard and fat and grease and those type of, MSG type, seasonings.
Right.
Stuff.
Yeah. So all natural. And what's the number one dish that you sell at the restaurant and in the catering?
So at the restaurant, we're famous for our turkey wings.
Turkey wings.
Yes.
Okay.
So they're not the smoked turkey wings, not the drums.
Okay.
So the baby turkey wings is just, they're fresh and they're the flats.
Okay.
And so we store them and we braise them down.
Okay.
With onions and bell peppers. And, we make a gravy for them. Okay. And so we're famous for that because we have a bowl concept. It's like the Chipotle of Southern Comfort.
Right.
You get a base, two sides, and your protein.
Okay.
And so our slogan is Home of the Soul Bowl. So
Home of the Soul Bowl.
So you go and you fill your bowl. And it's with those fresh natural ingredients.
Right.
On the catering side, our coconut fried chicken, coconut almondine chicken.
Okay.
So you think of almondine, you think of just on green beans.
Right.
So we took it and we just put it on the coconut chicken breast.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's one of our favorite sellers when it comes to catering.
Right. And what about your sides? You have people requesting more nutritious. Oops. Turn that box is going down.
Gotcha.
It's okay. More vegetables or more starchy sides? What are you seeing?
Well, what I'm saying is more vegetables, which is a good thing. We're getting away from the rice.
Okay.
Grits. Everybody think, shrimp and grits. Rice and lychee and but a lot of people are going on the healthier side.
Right.
We did a shaved Brussels sprout salad.
My favorite.
Right. And so, we're going, a lot of those things are our most fan favorite sides. Everybody's on this health conscious thing, which is crazy to me. I told this story in one of my lunch and learns. It's like, are you vegan or you're not?
Right.
Are you pescatarian or you're not? You can't tell me, I can eat cheese today. What kind of vegan is that?
That's not.
Or I go around the corner and see you down some potato salad. Right. So we got to pick and choose what we want to do and just be transparent on the matter. And I know it's difficult to be healthy and I know it's expensive and it's hard. But you don't have to put on for me. You don't have to front. If you want to enjoy some cheese, enjoy some cheese. But, just be transparent about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, don't waver in your dietary need.
Right.
Right. Yes.
Because remember, too much of anything is bad for you.
That's
so
true.
There's a balance. So do people think you can't eat meat? You need protein. Just choose the right meat, a linear cut.
Right.
Don't eat it incorporate it in your diet every day. We do something back at home where we do meatless Monday. A no starch Saturday. Stuff like that. Be creative with your family and kids.
Right.
And it's promoting eating a little healthier, but you still can enjoy and not be miserable in life.
Right. It's like there's a term. There's flexitarian and reducitarian. So reducing it, so that you're not eating it every day or as much as you used to eat it.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Now, so the podcast is all about safety, sustainability, and inclusion.
Right.
So what does safety in food and beverage mean to you?
Safety means exactly what it is. It's being safe, having those processes and systems in place to create a safe environment, not only for your clients, your staff, and yourself. When the sustainability part comes in, everybody's going that way. Everybody's going green. They're even back home, they're even making it mandatory that catering has to do, compost.
Oh, really? Okay.
Not so much on the beef side or the meat side yet, so much on the vegetable side.
Okay.
They haven't incorporated because it's hard to compost meat. You don't want maggots and stuff like that. But so what we try to do is we try to at least cook the meat down.
Right.
That way it's not so bad. We try to create a compost, but it's already cooked and you don't have to worry about the maggots and stuff like that. So
I don't think I've said maggots on a show yet.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. I'm transparent.
It's okay. Right. No, I like it. It's
gotta be.
It's a thing. You don't want maggots in your food.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Around your house or your yard. So and a lot of the venues we use. So now there's one venue back home. It's called Amenity Lagoon.
Okay.
And it's a FPNL. They do the electricity down in Florida.
Okay.
And they have this power plant. So before they built the lagoon, all the manatees would migrate to the power plant because of the warmness of the water.
Right.
And so certain parts of the season, you can go there and you can see the manatees down there. So they built the venue around it. So it's all eco-friendly venue. You can't take no plastic. It's all sustainable and recyclable. And so what we've done is we have worked those incurred costs into the proposals that we do for the clients that actually rent that venue. So and we can have, I like it. If we can have more venues to kind of follow that suit, and I think it'll be a better and safe world.
Okay, good. And then what about inclusion? What does that mean to you in food and beverage?
Inclusion to me, is an overall inclusion of history, style, presentation, safety, monetization. You want to hit every point. You want to include all that into being a successful caterer or event planner or whatever the case may be. That's what inclusion means to me.
Awesome. Good. All right. I noticed you also did a second session, not your lunch and learn on the South, but you did it on impressive hors d'oeuvres. Yes. Elevate and sophisticate the simple classics.
Right.
Tell me what that is. How are you elevating? Because there's a hotel over here that says elevated food and beverage, and I can tell you it's only elevated when they put it in the elevator.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what does an elevated, how are you improving on the classics?
Okay, so dealing with a lot of Southern food, it's unappealing when you get a sweet potato pie or you get some peach cobbler or you get some banana pudding.
Right.
And so a way to elevate and sophisticate that, we do this dessert called a Southern Trio.
Okay.
And so anytime you want to elevate something, you put it in the cheesecake. Put it in cheesecake. So we created a banana pudding cheesecake.
Oh, yummy.
A sweet potato pie cheesecake.
Okay.
And a banana pudding cheesecake.
Okay.
And they're about a quarter size each.
Okay.
And you get 3 on a plate.
That's a nice little bite size.
Exactly.
We don't need a whole cake.
It becomes one dessert.
Okay.
And so that's a way to elevate something simple and you can do pumpkin pie. You can do a rum cake. You don't have to just do those particular things, but anything you can think of that don't look appealing, how could I make this elevated? How could I make it look sophisticated? Like I'm on the island of Palm Beach eating a dinner with, Oprah or something. And so that's what we do. Or you can take a devil egg, or angel egg, or whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
And you can just
wait a minute. Angel's egg is a devil's egg?
Yeah, some people don't like to call it the devil, so they call it an angel egg.
Okay, never heard that.
Yeah, no different.
Okay.
Right, it's just the same. But we did a party, a Cinco de Mayo party. And so I thought about how could I make and they wanted double eggs on the menu. So I said, I never had a double egg margarita before. How could I make an egg a margarita? I couldn't make it essentially a margarita. So what we did, we cut the egg in half.
Okay.
We tapped the top in tureen like you would do a margarita glass.
Right.
We piped guacamole in it.
Wow.
Grilled some corn on the cob, shaved them, put a little piece on top with some queso cheese and a jalapeno pepper.
Wow.
You just elevated and sophisticated that devil egg.
Now, how long did it take you to come up with that?
To me, my planning stage on stuff it's a lot of work. I draw, I think, I go back. So even like we had another party, they wanted double eggs as well. This young lady came, she said she wanted to do a Minnie Mouse themed birthday party. But I want double eggs. So I just sat down and I started drawing. How can I make this unique? And I looked at all the characters and boom, Minnie Mouse and Mickey Mouse was right there in front of me. So I took some olives out of the can. And I took 2 of the olives and I put them up there like Mickey Mouse ears. Say, well, I'm missing something. Then I looked at, because Mickey Mouse didn't have a bow. So I looked at Minnie. Minnie has a bow.
Right.
I happen to have a bell pepper in front of me.
Okay.
So I cut it in a circle first.
Okay.
And I cut it in 2 small circles.
Okay.
To try to create the bow effect. And I put it just to look right. So, and then I said, well, the ears don't look right because they had the holes in them from the olive. So I went and got fresh olive and I shaved it. And I flipped it over so you can't see the hole, you just see the back. And then the bell pepper, I just cut it like a little bow.
Okay.
And I put it in the middle and put it on the double egg. It looked like Minnie Mouse on the double egg. And so that's how you elevate it,
right? Exactly, and meet their wants,
right?
Of being a mini, okay,
exactly,
wow.
Right. So it's in like sliders. Part of that presentation was like hamburger sliders. Everybody can make the typical boring hamburger slider,
right?
But we have these tricolor buns that you can elevate it by just changing the color of the bun. We get these black buns imported from France, small black sesame seed buns. So just changing the color elevates it automatically. Then we did a skinny party one time. They just wanted to wash the carbs. So we got rid of the buns and we just got zucchini chips.
Okay.
And we grilled the zucchini chips and we used them as the buns.
Oh.
Or we just did it without. Somebody just didn't want no bread at all. We just built the slider.
Right.
Did the slider, cheese, Cornichon pickle, grape tomato on a pick.
On a pick. Okay, so when I want to know how you elevate like skewered chicken.
Skewered chicken. Let me see how I can elevate that real quick. Got it. Okay.
Okay.
We make coconut chicken tenders.
Okay.
And we used to pile them up on a platter.
Right.
And put a dipping cup on it and pass it.
Yeah.
That was boring.
Right.
I have a fabricator back home who fabricated this board, and they created little holes. We have two of them. We have one for the coconut chicken tenders.
Okay.
Or jerk chicken kebabs. And we have one for lollipops. Like you can put a actually blow pop lollipop stick in.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And we make these pineapple rum barbecue lollipop meatballs.
Oh, wow.
And we just stick the lollipop stick in the meatball, we turn it upside down, stick it in the hole. Okay. So you elevate that just from laying them on a tray.
Right.
By just sticking them on a stick or a skewer, standing them up, sticking them in the hole. So they walk around with the platter, you just pick it up like a lollipop. You like a lollipop. Boom. Elevate.
Elevate.
Just I know my mind works fast. You do this long enough, you figure it out.
I'm sure. So tell everybody how they can get a hold of you and where are you?
So I'm located in West Palm Beach, Florida. Okay. It is a little cold over here in Austin. Need a heater or something.
No, yeah, you got this jacket on.
Yeah, I need to go back to my son and my fun in the sun. No, but I'm in West Palm Beach, Florida. You can check out my website at www.b as in boy, D as in David, S as in Superman, caters.com. You can follow me on Instagram at Chef Boris 561 or BDS Catering Productions. And it's the same on Facebook.
Okay, BDS Catering. Caters.com.
Oh, you want the website? Yes,
yeah.
BDScaters.com.
Okay, so save, and I'm going to put that up there.
Right.
Show. There you go. You can connect with Chef Boris at bdscaters.com.
Yes.
And then on Instagram at the same.
It's BDS Catering and Productions on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
And it's Chef Boris
on Instagram. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Everybody get that?
Right.
I will make sure that it's in the chat.
Right.
I'll add it into the chat. You're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being
here. It's been
a
pleasure.
It has been a pleasure.
You had fun so far?
I have. Have you?
Yes, I have.
Good.
One more night. We got to go home.
I know. Did you? All right. One final question. Yes. What is one thing that you learned at Catersource that you want to apply to your business?
It's so much. It's not just one thing. The value of cultivating and building relationships is amazing.
Yep. Face to face.
Face to face. I come here almost, not to Austin, but to Catersource almost every year. And I leave with at least 2 or 3 new friends in the industry.
It's going to be in your neck of the woods next year.
That's right.
Fort Lauderdale.
That's right. Yeah. An hour away in my backyard.
Oh, all right. Hopefully I'll come down and eat some of your food.
Oh, I'll be there.
Okay.
I'll be there.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you.
Sir.
You're welcome.
All right. Everybody, I will see you next week. Bye. Thank you for listening. Stay safe and eat well. Until next time.
Right.
Bye. Thanks for listening to the Eating at a Meeting podcast, where every meal matters. I'm Tracy Stuckrath, your food and beverage inclusion expert. Call me and let's get started right now on creating safe and inclusive food and beverage experiences for your customers, your employees, and your communities. Share the podcast with your friends and colleagues at our Eating at a Meeting Facebook page and on all podcast platforms. To learn more about me and receive valuable information, go to tracystuckrath.com. And if you'd like more information on how to feed engagement, nourish inclusion, and bolster your bottom line, then visit eatingatameeting.com.